2018 was a solid year for video games. So good, in fact, that there are a ton of great games that I haven't even had the chance to play yet. But even what I have played has been, at the very least, memorable. And while there are a ton of great games that I enjoyed, not all of them held my interest. But for those that did, the games that I personally consider to be the best of 2018, I've compiled a short list of my top 5. Now, just a heads up, there are going to be some huge 2018 games missing from this list, either because I just haven't gotten a chance to play them, or I did, but I didn't finish them, therefore I didn't really find them as compelling as the games on this list. I've only got so much time and money, man! Now, don't type out those angry comments just yet. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy my list. I won't go into a whole lot of detail as far as mechanics or anything. There are plenty of in-depth videos out there if you want to know more about each of these games, but odds are you probably already know at least a little bit about most of these. And as usual, I will do my best to keep this spoiler-free. I've been a big fan of David Cage games since I first played Heavy Rain. That was always one of my favorite PS3 games, so much so that I've played through it multiple times, which is a rare thing for me. And while it wasn't perfect, I really did enjoy Beyond Two Souls. Yeah, I have bad taste. Say what you will about David Cage, his pretension, his business practices, or what have you, the man knows how to catch my interest when it comes to video games.
Jason! 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 Jason!
Starting way back in 2012, Quantic Dream released a tech demo titled Kara. The end of that short had me wondering, well, what happens next? That can't be the end of it. Years later, Quantic Dream took the premise of that tech demo and turned it into a full-fledged game, Detroit Become Human. While not a direct continuation of the Kara demo, the base idea from that story was carried over and reworked, with a new version of Kara even returning as one of 3 playable characters in the center of an android revolution. I mean, what can I really say? It's a David Cage game. You make choices that may or may not affect the outcome of the game, you test your reflexes in QuickTime events. It's a road we've all been down before, but as usual with these games, the hook is all about the story. If you're into modern adventure-style games like Until Dawn, Telltale games, or any other Quantic Dream games, definitely give this one a try. 2018 was a fantastic year for Japanese RPGs. You had Dragon's Quest XI, Octopath Traveler, even a true Valkyria Chronicles sequel in the West for the first time in 8 years. That's cool, right? I haven't really played much of the Valkyria series, but I plan to. There's the first one, just sitting there in my backlog. So which of these awesome JRPG adventures is my number 4 game of 2018? None of them. It's actually Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now before you comment, yes, I am completely aware that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did not actually come out in 2018, but it did come out right at the end of 2017 in December. Plus, I didn't get a chance to play it until January of 2018, and it's such a long game, it would be hard for anyone to squeeze it into the 2017 list. Also, this is my list, so deal with it. First, the bad. The game does have its share of flaws, yes. I love the English voices. Yes, even Rex. I just think the actor shouldn't be afraid to yell so much.
Join me!
Also, the fact that you run into super high-level enemies in low-level areas is annoying, and it's always been a part of the Xenoblade series. I think the biggest annoyance is the randomized gacha system used for unlocking blades. There's nothing quite like finding a legendary core crystal only to get another one of these things. That aside, the game is fantastic. The combat is fun, and it really opens up once you grasp what you can really do with the combo system. But for me, when it comes to JRPGs, the combat is just something on the side. I'm more concerned about the world, the environments, the story, and this game had quite a bit of that. The characters, the music, the humor, the huge worlds to explore. It's not only one of my favorite games of 2018, or one of my favorite games on the Switch, it's just one of my favorite games altogether. I would put this as my number 3 on the list, but because it didn't actually come out in 2018, I felt it would just be fair to keep it lower, although Detroit definitely did not deserve to go above this one for me. I don't know where this one has stood for a lot of people as far as Game of the Year material, but Pokemon Let's Go was absolutely one of my favorite games of 2018. Yes, it's a Gen 1 remake again, but that's cool. Gen 8 is coming. Pokemon Let's Go takes traditional Pokemon games and turns them on their heads, getting rid of random encounters, instead having all of them just kind of show up on the field, like a lot of JRPGs have been doing in recent years. Which is cool with me because random battles are lame. Trust me, Mount Moon is a lot more tolerable when you can just run past all the Zubats and Geodudes. Combine that with a more Pokemon Go style of catching Pokemon, but leaving in trainer battles, gyms, and even kind of beefing up the story of the original games, and you do have a fresh, new enough Pokemon experience to hold us over until whatever Gen 8 has to offer. I put in a good 40 hours in just a week with this game before putting it down, and I do plan to go back and complete my Pokedex. If you're a new Switch owner and you just got it for Christmas, or just recently and you haven't picked this game up yet, I definitely recommend it. Especially if you grew up with Pokemon and you love Gen 1, and you get to choose between Eevee and Pikachu. I got Eevee. Look how cute he is. So cute. Is this creeping anyone out yet? No? Okay. Just me then. Lately, when it comes to video games, I mostly play either on my Switch or on my PC. There's just certain games that I prefer to play in handheld mode on the Switch, and for most anything else, I'll just play it on my PC on my ultra-wide monitor. So one thing that I've noticed is that I hardly touch my PS4 as much as I used to a couple of years ago. But then, a game like God of War comes along and reminds me why I keep this thing plugged in. I've always been moderately into the God of War series, but this game just took that formula and breathed new life into it. Crazy over-the-top battles, fun combat, Metroidvania-like mechanics where you unlock new abilities and open previously inaccessible areas. It's freaking awesome! The game definitely has its downsides. Boss battles for the most part were non-existent. Gone were the crazy memorable fights like Hydra, Hercules, or Zeus. Instead, you had pretty much this thing, just over and over in different colors. Also, the puzzles are a bit repetitive compared to previous games, boiling down to look for the thing to throw your axe at. That all aside, the best parts of the new far outweighed what was missing of the old. When I first finished God of War, I thought for sure I had found my game of the year, but there was one game that would go on to take its place.
SpiderMan, SpiderMan, does whatever a spider can.
Boy, that PS4 really came in handy this year, didn't it? Let me start off with a bit of context. Back in 2004, little 16-year-old me would trade in a bunch of games at GameStop to get my hands on SpiderMan 2 for the PlayStation 2. That same me would then go on to play the game from start to finish in 13 hours. All in one day.
For goodness sake, someone help me!
Yeah, I'm not proud, and I've certainly never done anything like that since, but I just loved swinging around that digital Manhattan so much that I couldn't put it down. That is until the game stopped working for me in the coming weeks, possibly from playing it too much. Fast forward 14 years and we've got SpiderMan on the PS4, a game that took the open world web swinging of the previous SpiderMan 2 and improved on it, as well as everything else in so many ways. I'm happy to report that no, I did not play through the game as fast this time around, and yes, my copy does still work. I won't go too into detail here, but the story this game tells, the way it's all presented, and how Peter's relationship with a certain other character really changes and develops throughout the course of the game really is what put this thing at the top for me. If you are a PS4 owner and have been on the fence about picking this up, or have just decided not to, why? Again, if you're wondering why games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate are missing from this list, it's because I didn't play those yet. And also for games that I have played and really enjoyed, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Dragon Quest XI, I just kind of hit a wall with each of those, so I didn't finish them. And in my head, if I didn't finish them, I didn't really find them as good, personally, as I did the games that I did finish, which were all 5 of the games on this list. So those were my top 5 games of 2018. What were your top 5 games? Let me know in the comments below, I'd love to read them. Did you agree with any of the games in my list? Did you disagree with all or most of them? Go ahead, tell me, I'm really actually curious. I read most of the comments. That's right. Even yours. You know who I'm talking to. And if you're new here, consider subscribing because I am working on a list of 2019 games that I'm really looking forward to. Should have taken so long to make this video because now Kingdom Hearts 3 is out, and obviously that would have been my number one. Thing is, I don't even have it yet because I bought Tales of Vesperia instead, which was good, it was worth it, but I don't have Kingdom Hearts 3 yet, so... But that video is coming, so subscribe, and yeah, check out another video, which I'll link over here, and one over here. Click on my face to subscribe. Or click below on the subscribe thing, the button. That's gonna do it for Old Portly.